Hi guys. I am so glad to be here. Thank you for joining me today live. I started having these Instagram lives when I was sorry, when I was when we're just coming into quarantine and nobody knew what was going on, and we were all kind of like, what's going on? And I've just really enjoyed being here. I've just enjoyed hanging out with you guys and just being more consistent in the way that I show up to what it is that I'm supposed to. So thanks for being here. I have Angela Beeler with me today, and if you guys don't know her, she's unbelievable. She is, I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about who she is. I'm going to add her. She's someone that I am inspired by on the regular. One of the most authentic leaders. I love the way that she shows up in the world with all of her frailties and all of her fabulousness. And so we get to talk a little bit of business with her today because I'm fascinated by business and I love business. So I hope that you're intrigued and fed as well. So let me add her real quick and we'll get rolling. Okay.
Hello.
What's
Hi.
up, girl?
I've never done this before.
You know what? Everybody keeps telling me that. I'm like, well, oh, good. I'm so glad because I really don't know what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. I feel like a pioneer for a moment or something.
I love it. I think it's great. I love doing new things. So,
well, how are you? Tell me how you're doing in quarantine. How's it been?
it's actually, here's what I want to say because we're getting that question a lot. You're asking that question a lot because we all want to know how each other's doing. I'm careful with what I'm about to say because I know that everybody's perspective with quarantine is different. But
Yeah.
for me personally, I've loved it so much. I don't know how deep you want to go into it, but I'm typically one that's on the go all the time. And so this has given me a full stop. It's given me permission to stop. And I've loved it. I've really thrived. But again, I know that's not everybody's story. And
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people that are going to come out on the other side of this really traumatized by it. And, it's
Well,
not hunky-dory for everybody.
I think it's important to have whatever experience we're having too, because I mean, if yours has been rosy every day, amen, girl, like give me some of your mojo, right? Because there is overall, I agree with you. It's been very fruitful and but we're also in Arizona in a less impacted place. We haven't been as restricted as much, so there are a number of things, but I did ask you how you were doing. So I'm glad that you had a fruitful and a peaceful, it sounds like, quarantine. So
Yeah,
it is not peaceful when you're a business owner, a small business owner, and something like COVID happens and your state is shut down. So that is not peaceful. So can we talk a little bit about the real, kind of what happened? Like, okay, after the initial shock of, wow, talk to me a little bit about what that pivot was. Like, change is the genius and necessity of, innovation. So help me, what happened with REFIT? Tell us.
Yeah. I think, like most business owners, you're in the middle of the storm trying to make a plan, a good plan, a solid plan for what needs to happen. I think the main thing that we understood was because everything was changing so rapidly, we knew that the best thing that we could do was just be as agile as possible. So I think it took us a little bit to understand, oh, okay, now we have to reduce, like here at the studio, now we have to reduce classes from normal size to 10 or less. Okay, now we have to reduce classes not to 10 but to 0. So I think just really what we did was we took it week by week. Normally we're planning like a 30, 60, 90 day outlook, and we're pushing for our yearly goals. All of that kind of just went off the table, and we just said to ourselves, hey, how can we meet people where they are? What do they need? And how can we make that happen? So let's just plan things out week by week. And so really the past 6 to 8 weeks has just been little bite-sized chunks.
So good, because that's I was going to ask you, what do you attribute agility to? And I think it's that, right? Where you go,
Right.
okay, I'm only looking at the next 5 days. I'm not going to look
Yes.
at the next 5 weeks because I'll get locked and loaded into something. So having that forced agility, awesome. And then, so just in case nobody, I mean, I think everybody on here loves you and knows what REFIT does, but in case there's someone that doesn't know what REFIT does, can you tell us a little bit about your business model? Because it was such a large pivot. So can you tell
Right.
us like kind of the concept of your business and how important the in-person was, and then what
Yes.
kind of things you did?
Yeah. I do see some people that I know on here. I don't think they're all
They're
REFIT
all
people.
you. No, I'm kidding.
But Kathy's on here, so hi, Catherine.
Hi, Kathy.
Yeah.
I did see Kathy.
Okay, so our business model in a nutshell, that we offer a community-focused fitness experience. We say movement plus music. Some people call it cardio dance. Both of those terms fit.
Yeah.
But so we have obviously a local studio where people show up to experience live classes, but we also have a national presence as well. So we offer instructor trainings for our REFIT program, where instructors can teach this format where they are.
Awesome.
We also have online classes, so people can take online classes. You can show up for a live event. You can experience REFIT live. You can do the instructor training. And so we both have this national and local presence. But then we also have REFIT instructors who are teaching locally, all across the globe. And so that's basically our business model. We had an online presence, so it wasn't a full creation of something new when coronavirus hit and everything went virtual. It was just recalculating everything that we normally do and putting everything online.
Totally. And so I think the value of the REFIT brand, if you will, lack of a better term, is your community. There is no, I mean, literally, I was like, oh my God, I left you a message and I said, I need your autograph. I'm fangirling because I think I got like 100 people started following me. I'm like, oh my gosh. For a hot minute, I'm friends with Angela Beeler. So, so community is so incredibly foundational to REFIT. So obviously you train in person, you would go to cities with large amounts of people and you would train them there. So I'm assuming, you know, a substantial amount of your business is done in forming that community in person. So what has been your greatest struggle with moving community online and your greatest silver lining where you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this? So what's been the hardest and what's been the best thing about taking that incredible community online? And have they been agile? Have they been able to kind of fall into your cadence?
Yes. So one thing that I'll say about our community is that you said it and I'll echo it. We've tried to be pretty authentic as business owners and as leaders. We've never tried to pretend to have it all together. In fact, you know, if we make a mistake, we're typically the first person to admit it, or we'll go directly to our community to have those hard conversations. And so I think in this space where a lot of businesses maybe tried to create the facade of, we got this, we're good, we're going to get through it together, we really came out of the gate and went to our community to say, hey, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what things are going to look like, but what we can guarantee you is we're going to keep showing up every day consistently as long as we can until we can't. And so I think just the strength of our community, which is part of this silver lining, was, and we said this just the other day to our community, it really tests the depth of your community and the strength. Situations like this, it is proof of what you've built, what you have, and who's in your camp. But the opposite can also be true, because it could also be a real testimony to the weaknesses of your business. And I'm just glad to be able to say we have a very supportive and deep community, and it's been evidenced in the way that they've embraced and that they've been agile with us. They've extended so much grace. We are we're an industry that is a luxury for a lot of people, right? Fitness is a luxury for a lot of people. And so it's one of the first things to go oftentimes if the finances get tight. And we just have seen very little very few cancellations, very few people who have said, hey, I can't be part of this because of finances. In fact, they've continued to support us financially because they want to see us succeed on the other side of this. So not that it's all about money, but if that is the way that our community has been able to show their support, they have overwhelmingly showed it for us.
I think yes, and I think you guys do truly one of the best jobs in engaging your community. I mean, you're always doing something. I can't wait to open my feed and see what Cappy's cooking, what Angela's wearing, what Emily's doing with those babies. You know, I just like adore everything about the way that you guys show up. And so tell me, what is one thing, like you go, I was going to ask you if you could define your leadership in one word, what do you think that word would be?
Oh my gosh. Do any of you guys want to answer? Catherine, what would you say?
I want to see Kathy's answer. So what would Angela's one word be for leadership? Does anyone want to chime in? I know Mindy's on here.
I see Allie Flynn.
An 8.
Well, I am. We talked about this, Brooke, because we were trying to guess each other's Enneagrams, and I think you're a 3.
What did you say? What did you say? You go, I can't believe you're a 3 because I usually don't like 3.
It's true. I have a hard time with female 3s. I don't know. There's something about that lack. Sometimes, I'm not going to stereotype everybody, but sometimes it's hard to get at the core of a female 3.
Yeah.
There's a lot of facade there, but
yes,
I don't get that from you.
That's true. Okay, so listen, they're coming in. Risk, strong yet gracious, strong, and cohesive. Those are beautiful words. Cappy gave me a flexed arm.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that she means you're strong. That's true of you. Well, when I watch you move in your space and the way that you show up in the world, you move with grace and with ease. And so it's fun to watch you. It's fun to watch you show up. It's fun to watch you make mistakes. It's fun to watch you question your dog. I love that about you, right? I know.
I've said this before, and maybe this is an 8 thing. I don't know. I would rather tell 1 million people my most vulnerable thought versus one person. The intimacy of sharing one-on-one is way scarier to me than going to Facebook and saying everything that if just to backtrack, I vulnerably vomited on my Facebook today about my new puppy that has me questioning my entire existence. So you can go read that. It's pretty vulnerable. I mean, still when I read it, I cry.
I know.
That was my heart.
I love that.
But you know what? I shared that with all those people on Facebook, and my husband knows nothing. I would rather tell everybody than tell him because it's too close. It's too intimate. So anyway,
I love that about you. You're awesome. You're so fun. Well, thank you for being here. I just appreciate you, and I appreciate your business. I watch it, and I think it's fantastic. So thanks for the way you show up, and thanks for showing up today.
You bet.